and welcome back to the channel. I'm Allan from the Western Expedition team, and this is a review of the MSR Elixir 1. Let's get into it.
Is very simple and doesn't take a lot of time. Everything is color coded and fairly intuitive. I do recommend spiking the ground sheet first and basing everything off that. I recommend setting the poles in opposing corners first. It makes life a lot easier. Next comes the tent body. These hooks snap into place and are color coded to match the poles. Next is the cross pole, which also supports the tent body and gives you a starting point for the fly. Finally comes the fly, which is secured to everything via grommets like the tent body and the ground sheet. The fly is also spread out by 3 additional stakes, creating your vestibule and giving you some ventilation. It's a good idea to open the vents on either end of the fly to create some air movement within the tent.
It was the first backpacking tent that I ever bought. And even though I didn't bring it on my first backpacking trip, I wish I had. I've used it in storms, I've used it in hot weather. I've used it on sandy beaches and rocky mountains. This tent is warm. When it is cold and rainy outside, it's hard to get out of this thing in the mornings. It is a small space for your body to heat up, like any other solo tent. There are lots of pockets for storage, and loops for a hanging stove system from MSR, or to do as I've done and weave yourself a shelf. This tent is decently spacious for one person, but at 5'11", it's a little bit cramped for me and my gear has to live outside. The price is not that bad, and at the time of the filming of this video, it's $254.95. As with anything, there are drawbacks to this tent. There's not a lot of ventilation, which leads to condensation issues. Unfortunately, the condensation seems to pool around your head and on the inside of the fly. Your gear doesn't fit in here. It has to sit out here where it can get wet from the ground. This tent is compatible with the MSR gear shed, which will allow you to store your gear with a ground sheet. And unfortunately, this tent is also on the heavier side of the scale. I love this tent. It is reliable, and it is a great bang for your buck. I don't feel like the drawbacks of this tent outweigh the benefits that it has given me in the past. Will I replace it one day? For sure. But this will be a tent that I will recommend and loan out to people on a regular basis for as long as I own it. It is durable, it is inexpensive, and it is very, very waterproof.
Not a lot of room, but there's enough.
Thank you for joining me on this review of the MSR Elixir 1. I appreciate having you with me. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and please stay safe out there.